Hi, and welcome to the second lesson of Easy English with Friends. In lesson 2, we are going to have a look at friends talking about Phoebe's cookie. The lesson will have 3 parts. In the first part, we're going to view a video clip. The video clip will be played at full speed with no subtitles. I would like you to get used to the natural pace or speed at which native speakers speak. If you haven't watched anything in English before, you may find some parts of it a bit hard to understand. But don't be afraid though. After a little bit of practice, you will feel much more comfortable. In the second part of the lesson, we'll watch the same clip again, but this time the subtitles will be on, and I will pause the clip from time to time to give you some explanations. Finally, we'll watch the clip one more time at a full speed, no subtitles, no pausing. Let's get started.
You know what I was thinking?
What?
Nothing, I just like to go like this.
Hey, Chandler, what are you doing tonight?
Why? Do you have a lecture?
No, why?
Then free as a bird. What's up?
My dad wants to know if you want to play racquetball with us.
Wow, that's great. Dad must really like you. He doesn't ask just anyone to play.
Yeah, and he didn't really ask for you. He asked for Chauncey. I assumed he meant you.
Well, did you correct him?
No, I thought it would be more fun this way.
It's so cool. Maybe this is something you could do every week.
Yeah, or you could sit with him on the front porch and make sure no one steals the trash cans. He does that every week, too.
Oh, just so you know, you have to let him win. He hates to lose.
Oh, no problem. Maybe I'll play with my left hand.
You're not a lefty?
Does anybody know me?
What's wrong, Phoebe?
I just went to my old apartment to get you the cookie recipe, and that stupid fire burned it up.
No! Why didn't you make a copy and keep it in a fireproof box and keep it at least 100 yards away from the original?
Because I'm normal. That was the one legacy my grandmother left me. And I know you wanted it as an engagement present.
Oh, we have to get you an engagement present?
Don't worry about it, Phoebes.
No one got me an engagement present.
Okay, here. I don't have the recipe, but here. I wish you health and happiness.
An old cookie?
This is what happens when you don't register for gifts.
See, no, I made a batch and I froze it, and this is the only one left.
We can't accept this.
Why not?
Because it's gross.
No, wait. I think I can figure out the recipe from this cookie. I do stuff like this at work all the time.
Really?
Yeah, I think I can do it.
Oh, yay!
Okay, Ross, we owe you a present.
2, I've been engaged twice.
Good job. You've made it through the first part of the lesson. Now, before we move on to the second part, I'd like to repeat it one more time. It is totally fine if you didn't understand everything that people in the video clip are saying. With a little bit of practice, you'll be able to understand everything. Now, in the second part of the lesson, we're going to watch the same clip again, but this time there will be subtitles at the bottom of the screen and note field to the right. I'll leave my notes here. Now let's get started.
You know what I was thinking?
What?
Nothing, I just like to go like this.
Now, after Chandler said, "You know what I've been thinking," Monica said, "What?" Chandler replies, "Nothing. I just like to go like this." In English, when people want to show someone's action, they use the phrase "to go like this," and then they show the action. For example, if you want to show how your friend was surprised when you told him or her about something exciting, you might say, "Well, when I told my friend that I'm moving to live in another country, he went like this." And then you show how your friend actually looked like to go like this and then action.
Hey, Chandler, what are you doing tonight?
Why? Do you have a lecture?
Ross asked Chandler, "What are you doing tonight? What are you doing?" In English, tonight means in the evening. It doesn't actually mean night. It means what are you doing this evening? But it is more natural to say, what are you doing tonight? Now Chandler replies with, do you have a lecture? A lecture is a lesson. Because Ross is a university professor, he usually gives lectures. Chandler must think that they might be boring. That's why he asks him, do you have a lecture?
No, what?
Then free as a bird. What's up?
Chandler says, I'm free as a bird. So when he finds out that Ross doesn't have a lecture for him, he says, well, then I'm free as a bird. Now, to be free as a bird, as you might guess, is to have nothing to do. Then he says, what's up? You might have heard this phrase before. When people greet each other, they sometimes say, what's up? Now, in this case, what's up means, what's new? What's up? What's new? What do you have for me?
My dad wants to know if you want to play racquetball.
A racquetball is just a name of the game. It's a bit similar to tennis.
With us.
Wow, that's great. Dad must really like you. He doesn't ask just anyone to play.
Yeah, and he didn't really ask for you. He asked for Chauncey. I assumed he meant you.
The phrase that I want to have a look at here is to assume, or in this case, Ross says, I assumed he meant you. It's very similar to I think, but I'm not sure. So you might ask me, do you think Paul is at home today? I can say I assume he is home because it's Saturday night and usually he's at home. So I think, but I'm not sure. Assume, to think, but not being completely sure.
Well, did you correct him?
No, I thought it would be more fun this way.
It's so cool. Maybe this is something you could do every week.
Yeah, or you could sit with him on the front porch.
Ross replies with, you can sit with my dad on the front porch. This would be a good example of a front porch, an area in front of the house where people can sit and just enjoy themselves.
And make sure no one steals the trash cans.
So his dad makes sure that no one steals the trash cans. He sits on the porch and he looks at the trash cans. Now, trash cans are containers or cans where people put trash or things they don't need. This would be a good example of trash cans. Sometimes they're made of plastic, but they can be metal as well. So his dad looks at those trash cans. He makes sure that no one takes them. He sees that, he checks them. He makes sure.
He does that every week, too.
Oh, just so you know, you have to let him win. He hates to lose.
Oh, no problem. Maybe I'll play with my left hand.
You're not a lefty?
After Chandler said that he will probably play with his left hand because he wants to let Ross's father win, Ross said, are you not a lefty? In this case, lefty means a person who uses his left hand to hold a racket, or he uses his left hand to write. Lefty.
Does anybody know me?
Chandler says, does anybody know me? Because at the beginning of this episode, nobody noticed that he starts to wear glasses. They thought he wears glasses all the time, and now Ross doesn't know that he actually is not a lefty. That's why he said, does anybody know me? That's the joke here.
What's wrong, Phoebe?
I just went to my old apartment to get you the cookie recipe.
A recipe, in this case, a cookie recipe, a set of instructions or steps that tell you how to cook something. In this case, how to bake or make cookies.
Okay? And that stupid fire burned it up.
No! Why didn't you make a copy and keep it in a fireproof?
Phoebe said that a fire burned up her recipe, so she doesn't have it now. Monica replies, why didn't you put a cookie recipe in a fireproof box? In English, people add proof to some words to mean that something will not be damaged by it. For example, waterproof, waterproof container, waterproof watch, dustproof. Some smartphones these days are dustproof. It means that even though it could be dusty outside or around you, your phone will not be affected. Your phone will be fine if it's dustproof.
Box and keep it at least 100 yards away from the original.
Because I'm normal. That was the one legacy my grandmother left.
The word I want to look here is legacy. And usually a legacy is money or property, a house which someone leaves to someone when they die. So in this case, grandmother left Phoebe a cookie recipe as a legacy.
Left me. And I know you wanted it as an engagement.
Now Phoebe continues, and she said that she knew that Monica wanted this cookie recipe as an engagement present. Now, an engagement present is something that people give to another two people when these two people get engaged. When people get engaged, they are going to get married. They're going to become husband and wife. But before that, a man would say, "Will you marry me?" And hopefully a woman will reply yes. And then they become engaged. And people give them engagement presents to congratulate them on their engagement.
Present.
Look, we have to get you an engagement present?
Ross said we have to get you an engagement present. Now, in English, people usually use the word get instead of have or give. So in this case, Ross could have said we have to give you or we have to buy you an engagement present, but he used get because it's natural and normal to use get in conversational English.
Don't worry about it, Phoebe.
No one got me an engagement present.
Now here again, Ross uses got to say that nobody gave him or nobody bought him an engagement present, even though he was engaged.
Okay, here. I don't have the recipe, but here. I wish you health and happiness.
An old cookie?
This is what happens when you don't register for gifts.
Monica said, "See, this is what happens when you don't register for gifts." When people register for gifts, they actually look at the list and decide what to give to the engaged couple. Now, in this case, Monica and Chandler didn't do that. They did not create a list of things they want. So people can't register. They can't pick something to give them. So they just give them whatever they want. And in this case, Phoebe gave them a cookie.
See, no, I made a batch and I froze it, and this is the only one left.
Phoebe said that she made a batch. A batch means group of items or things. You can say a batch of people or a batch of things or items or a batch of cookies. A batch.
We can't accept this
Why not?
because it's gross.
Chandler said that they can't accept this. They can't take this present because it's gross. Now, something that is gross is not very pleasant, and in fact, it's rather terrible, maybe even disgusting.
No.
wait, I think I can figure out the recipe from this cookie.
Monica said that she can figure out the recipe from the cookie. Now, to figure something out means to guess. To guess the recipe or to know the recipe after she spends some time. Maybe she's going to try the cookie and figure out, or to know, or to learn the recipe from this cookie she has.
I do stuff like this at work all the time.
Really?
Yeah, I think I can do it.
Oh, yay!
Okay, Ross, we owe you a present.
Now, Ross seems a bit upset about what is going on, and Chandler said, "We owe you a present." Now, the word that I would like to look at here is to owe. If you owe someone something, that means you have to give it to them. For example, if I lent you some money, I gave you some money and you told me that you would return it to me and you didn't, I can say, hey, you owe me the money I lent you. In this case, they owe Ross a present because he was engaged and no one gave him, or nobody got him a present.
2. I've been engaged twice.
Before we move on to the third part and watch this video clip one more time, let me briefly recap or review the vocabulary. To go like this is a little bit difficult to describe, but people usually use this phrase to demonstrate an action. My friend went like this when I told him that I'm going to go to another country. What are you doing tonight means what are you doing this evening? So instead of evening, people usually say tonight to sound natural. Do you have a lecture? Do you have a lesson at the university? Free as a bird means I have nothing to do. I'm absolutely free. What's up means what's new? What do you have for me? I assume means I think, but I'm not entirely sure. I assume this lesson is going to be pretty long. I'm pretty sure, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's not going to be long. Front porch, an area in front of the house where people usually sit and relax. Make sure means to be sure, to do something to be sure that no one steals trash cans. In this case, trash cans are containers for trash that usually are placed outside on the street. Are you not lefty? Lefty are people who use their left hands to write or to hold a sports equipment. A cookie recipe. A recipe is a set of instructions, a series of steps that tell you how to cook something, in this case, cooking. Fireproof or waterproof or dustproof. In English, people add proof to dust, water, and fire to mean that an item or a thing they're talking about will not be damaged by dust, water, or fire. A legacy is something that someone leaves to another person after they die. A grandmother left Phoebe a cookie recipe. An engagement present is usually given to a couple of people who got engaged, who are going to get married. To get. In English, in conversational or informal English, people often use get instead of have or give. Nobody got Ross an engagement present. Register for gifts. Sometimes when people get married, they make a list of things they would like to get as presents, as gifts, and people, their family and friends, register for gifts. They say, okay, we will get you this, and then another friend will get something else from this list to register for gifts. A batch means a group of items, a batch of cookies, a batch of people. It's gross. Something that is gross is terrible and rather disgusting. A cookie that Phoebe gave to Monica as an engagement present is very gross. To figure something out means to guess or to learn. If you don't know a word, you can try and figure it out by looking at the words next to it. To figure something out, to guess, or to learn. Our last word is to owe. In this episode, Ross said you owe me a present because nobody gave him a present and now everybody has to give him one. Now let's move on and watch this episode one more time.
You know what I was thinking?
What?
Nothing. I just like to go like this.
Hey, Chandler, what are you doing tonight?
Why? Do you have a lecture?
No, why?
Then free as a bird. What's up?
My dad wanted to know if you want to play racquetball with us.
Wow, that's great. Dad must really like you. He doesn't ask just anyone to play.
Yeah, and he didn't really ask for you. He asked for Chauncey. I assumed he meant you.
Well, did you correct him?
No, I thought it would be more fun this way.
It's so cool. Maybe this is something you could do every week.
Yeah, or you could sit with him on the front porch and make sure no one steals the trash cans. He does that every week, too.
Oh, just so you know, you have to let him win. He hates to lose.
Oh, no problem. Maybe I'll play with my left hand.
You're not a lefty?
Does anybody know me?
What's wrong, Phoebe? I just went to my old apartment to get you the cookie recipe, and that stupid fire burned it up.
No! Why didn't you make a copy and keep it in a fireproof box and keep it at least 100 yards away from the original?
Because I'm normal. That was the one legacy my grandmother left me. And I know you wanted it as an engagement present.
We have to get you an engagement present?
Don't worry about it, Phoebes.
No one got me an engagement present.
Okay, here. I don't have the recipe, but here. I wish you health and happiness.
An old cookie?
This is what happens when you don't register for gifts.
See, no, I made a batch and I froze it, and this is the only one left.
We can't accept this.
Why not?
Because it's gross.
No, wait, I think I can figure out the recipe from this cookie. I do stuff like this at work all the time.
Really?
Yeah, I think I can do it.
Oh, yay!
Okay, Ross, we owe you a present.
2, I've been engaged twice.
And this concludes our second lesson of Easy English with Friends. I'd like to say thank you for taking the time out of your day to learn English with friends. I hope you've enjoyed it and you learned something useful. Let me know what you think about this lesson in the comment section below. And if you have any questions about anything in this episode or about English in general, feel free to leave a comment as well. That's it for now. See you in lesson 3. Take care.